Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. The last video we designed a product detail template. So let's see what we did last video. So let me run the server and then let us visit full host. So last video we designed this template and also added this review. So in this video we are going to add submit review feature to add to our product detail page. This will allow users to leave reviews and rate products they have purchased or interacted with. We'll walk through how users can submit their feedback, and how we can handle the information in our Django app. By the end of this video, the website will have a functioning review system to gather valuable users' feedback, okay, where they can select these stars and leave and then submit. Okay, so we are going to create that submit function. Okay, remember in the previous video we added this review from our admin interface, but we want this review to be the product to be reviewed by the users from the front end. Without much ado, let's get started. So let's go to, let me close everything here, and now let us go to our product views, product app, and then views. Thing we want to import first, we have imported review rating. The next thing we want to do, let's create the review submit function. So div submit review, that's a request. Then let us say pass. Let us as well create a function that validates the URL. So first let us create def with div URL, takes in a URL, and then allowed hosts. Then let me say pass. So let us put the allowed hosts. So at the top we say from Django.conf import settings. Okay, so we want to get the allowed host so that we can validate the URLs that are coming from our server links. So can say allowed hosts equals to settings dot allowed hosts. Okay, let's go back to this function here. Let us import URL parser. So we'll say from URL lib pass import URL parser. Import URL pass. Then let's say URL equals to URL dot strip, and then we say if URL equals to an empty string, this should be equals to, it's an empty string, and then we return false. Else we return a URL object equals to URL pass, then you pass in the URL. And now we return the object, return URL object to use netlock in allowed post. So in this function here, this entire function is a like security guard for the website. It checks if web URL is a web address is safe or not by making sure it comes from a trusted place which is allowed hosts. Remember, in our settings we define our allowed host. Okay, so we want to make sure that the address making the request is from the allowed host. So this is a security guard, making sure it comes from a trusted place, that is allowed hosts. And if the URL does not look safe, we do not use it. The next, now let's create the submit review function. First, we need to do some importation. We need to get the product instance retrieved using get object or for, and to use that we need to import it. So here we have imported from Django.shortcuts import get object or for. So we are going to use this function to get the product. I mean, so to do that, let me comment this and say get product instance retrieve to retrieve the category slug and product slug. So let's do that. So we'll say product equals to get object or for, then we pass in the product model. This product is our product model, So we have imported it. We have the product here. So we are getting that product, and then we are getting that product by ID. So say ID goes to product ID. Now we need to pass product ID as a parameter to our review. So we'll say product ID. Since we want to give a review to a specific product, so that is why we are passing this as our parameter to the function. So we are using this get object or for function to get the product. This function will help us get that product. If that product does not exist, then we get a 4 error. And then let us get the category slug. So we'll say category slug goes to product dot category slug. Okay. Then let us get the product slug. Remember in our models, if I open models here, we have product. Let's see the product model. So in our product model, we have this the product slug, and then we have the category here, which is a foreign key. And in category, we are using as well a slug. Let's see the absolute URL. We are passing these arguments. So this is how our URL links for the product will be generated. They must have a category slug and the product slug. And that is why we have retrieved these slugs. And next, now we get the referrer URL or a fallback to the product detail page. So to do that, we say referrer URL goes to request.meta.get, and then we get HTTP referrer. We say HTTP referrer. Okay, I hope the spelling is correct. So HTTP referrer, and then we are going to use reverse. Okay, so we are going to say reverse. We are going to say reverse, and then we reverse the. Now we need to import this reverse. So let us import that reverse. So we'll say from Django.urls import reverse. Once we import the reverse, now we have a reverse here. We want to reverse the product detail part. So we'll say product detail, okay, and then we pass in those arguments. We pass in category slug and the product slug, and then we say arguments equals to, we open a list, and then we pass in the category slug, and then product slug as well. We are using this function that we had created to validate the URL referrer. So we'll say is save URL, and then we pass in the referrer URL and say request get post. Now let us validate that. So we'll say referrer URL equals to reverse, and then we say product detail. Then we pass in the arguments. We say posting. We open a list and say category slug, and then product slug. Now this one, we are validating that URL to ensure it is saved. Next, now let us handle our form. Remember, we are using the form to submit review. So we are going to create a form. Inside our product, let us create another file called forms. So we'll say forms.py, and then inside our forms, let's import forms. So from Django import forms. We're going to use a model form. So we have to import the model that we want to use. So we'll say from models, from.models import. We want to use this model, new rating model. Then let us get a class and say review form, which inherits from forms.model form, from forms.model form. To define our class meta, and let us specify the model that we are going to use. So we say model goes to review model, view rating, so view rating. Then let us define the fields. So fields equals to, then we open a list and list all the fields that we want to use. We want to use subject, and then we want to use a review field, then we want to use a rating. Okay, so those are the fields. All these fields are found inside our review rating model. So if I open models here, we go to review rating model. We have the subject, we have the review, we have the rating. Now we need to import this form. So to do that, let's go back to our views and then say from forms, import review form. Once we do that, now let us handle our post requests. So here, load this. Now let us handle our post request. So we'll say if quest dot method equals to post, then we use the form. We define our form to be a review form, okay, and we say that this form is a post request dot post, okay, and then let us validate this form and say if form dot valid, we update or create the review. Now we are going to use it or create function. So if the form is valid, we need to update or create the review. So we'll say review comma, and say you created equals to review rating dot objects dot update or create. So the reason why we are using this update or create, we want if the user has already given a review to that product, if he tries to give another review to that product, the old product he had given is updated instead of creating a new one. If the review has not been given by this user, then that review is created. User uh, equals to request.user. We want to get the logged in user, so request.user. Then we need to get the product ID, so we say product ID equals to product ID. Then let's define our defaults. So defaults, a key value structure. So we use a dictionary. So we say we want our default to be subject, and then we say form. We say form dot cleaned data. Then we say subject. I'm going to copy this a few times. I'm going to copy this comma is here. So I'm going to copy this, going to copy that and paste it. Let's change this to a rating. So we say rating, and then here will be rating. Let me paste again, and here will be review. This is review. Remember, these fields are defined inside our model review rating. We have subject, review, we have rating and IP. So we are doing as well to get the IP of the user. So I'll say IP equals to going to use meta. So we'll say request meta dot get. Let us use remote address. So remote address, we are getting the IP, and then let's now check if the user has created this and return a appropriate message. So we'll say if created, if the user has already given this review, then we need to return a messages. We are going to use messages. So say messages.success. Now we need to import this messages function. So we'll go up, say from Django.contrib port messages. Okay, once you import these messages, go back here, pass in request, and then leave a message and say something like, thank you, your review has been submitted. So if the user successfully gives a review for the first time, he gets this, else the review is being updated. Okay, else we say messages dot success, then we pass in the request, and then give the message and say something like, thank you, your review has been updated. We have validated this form. Now if the form is invalid, we need to return something. If the form is invalid, we need to say else. We need to give a message. If the form is invalid, we say else. We say messages dot error. This will be an error message. We pass in the request, and then we say something like there was an error with your submission. And then we redirect the user to the, so we return redirect. So we need to import this redirect function. We go up from Django.shortcuts, import redirect. So we'll redirect there, import that redirect. Then we redirect the user to the original. So we say referrer URL. Okay, referrer URL, right? And then finally, if everything is okay, we as well redirect the user to say, if everything was okay, we redirect the user to the product detail page or the referrer URL. So we will say return, redirect, return, redirect, referrer URL. So let me close this and try to run again. Let us go through what we have created here. We have created a submit review function. First, we make sure that user is logged in. Okay, we need also to ensure that user who gives a review is a logged in user. So to do that, we need to use a decorator. Let's import that login required decorator. So we'll say from Django.contrib.auth .decorators import login decorator. We are going to use this login decorator to ensure that only logged in users will be able to submit the review to that product. Okay, let us import that here and say at login required. So this decorator will ensure that only registered and logged in user can give a review to a product. Okay, this means only logged in users can leave reviews. Then we look at created this product. We are using object for. This means that if the product exists, we find its category slug and product slug. Next, we check whether the user came from a called referral URL. If the referral URL is saved, we let the user submit the review. Okay, if it's saved, we let the user submit the review. If not, we take them back to the product detail page. And then when the user sends the review, when they press that submit button, we check the form. We check the form if to make sure that everything is filled out. Okay, remember we are using this form. If the review is new, it is, we save it and show a message saying thank you. If the review is new, we save it and then show this message then submitted. If they have already reviewed the product, we update their review and show a message saying thank you, your review has been updated. A mistake with the form, we let the user know with an error message saying there was an error with your submission. After all that, we take the user back to the product detail. So that is why we are redirecting them. So let us go to our product urls.py. Here we will add a submit review path. Right here, we'll say path and say like submit review, and then let us pass in the product ID, so which is an int a product ID. Then let us close. Now let us use our view, so say views dot submit review. Let us give it a name and say submit review. Submit. So we go to the template, products and product detail. We look for the form. Say form. Here is our form. We have the form. Here we have the action. So our action will be URL, and then we say submit, and then the method will be post. We need to take care of CSRF token to ensure that everything is okay with form submission. So we'll say we add that line. CSRF. Now we need to handle names. So this will be rating, 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 and this will be not rate, but rating, and as well this rating. We need to match the names with the names that we had defined in our form rating. Okay, now we are set. Let us go back to here and refresh. Okay, submit review. Okay, we need to pass in. Okay, we need to pass in the argument. Okay, so we'll have product.id as our argument. Here we need to add product ID. Remember, in our views we passed in that argument here, and in our urls.pattern we as well passed it here. So you need to add it here. So let us again refresh this. Now we have this. Let me log in to the admin so that I can be shown like I'm a logged in user. So I'm a logged in user. Let me try to give a feedback. So let me choose a 5-star. Remember, we had given 4 stars from the backend, and then say this is cool. Okay, and submit. Object has no attribute category slug. Let's check that again and see what is the issue. As in line 65, category slug. So let's go to the views. Issue product equals to get, and then category slug equals to product dot category dot slug. Okay, this should be dot slug, not category slug. Use dot slug. Okay, product dot category dot slug. Yes, I'm sure you corrected that. Let us refresh again. Try to submit. Null concentrate failed product review rating subject. So here the problem is we are getting the subject and as well the review, but we are getting these 3, but I have not added the subject. Okay, so what I will do, I don't want us to give the subject, I want us to give the rating stars and the written reviews only. So what I will do, I'll go to the models. In our models, we will have a subject and add this blank equals to 3, null equals to 2. Okay, and now let us run migrations. We had added those in our previous video, so we'll do Python manage.py, make migrations, and then say Python manage.py migrate. Okay, now we have migrated review. Okay, so now let us refresh. Okay, now it has been submitted. You can see we have 1 star. We have already given this. Now let us give a 3 star. You can see we said cool. Let us say updating, submit. Okay. You can see we have 2 stars. Updating. I believe there is an error with this star rating. There is a mixed up with percentage, which we will correct in the next video. So now that is the end of this video. We have successfully added submit review functionality to our product detail page. Users can now share their thoughts and rate products, which is great to help others decide on purchases. In the next video, we'll dive into correcting this mistake of percentage. You can see here we have 4 stars. When we give 5 stars, you can see here it is showing 1 star instead of 5 stars. So we are going to correct this. Stay tuned for more waiting features, and as always, I ask you kindly don't forget to subscribe and also like the video to help this channel grow. For more content like this, please consider subscribing.